Episode 8, Callie's Shelter. Asha's cold fingers closed around my forearm. She furiously dug her nails into it. Her eyes burned with obsession.
Hungry. I've been so hungry for so long. It's so cold. This darkness. There is warmth in your body. Give it to me.
A resentful stare, an icy grip, and a foul hiss. Asha was filled with a visceral hatred for me. It felt hypnotic, disorienting, and it made me dizzy. My hands and feet went numb, the tips of my fingers started tingling. It felt as if something was trying to force my consciousness out of my body, forcefully stripping it away from me. No.
Be afraid. Fear only makes the blood sweeter.
A whirlpool of fog was drawing me deeper, and I couldn't see anything. All sounds grew distant, muffled, as if I were deep underwater. My brain feels like cotton wool. I can barely feel anything. Her fingers parted suddenly. She growled softly, as if trying to drive someone away. A voice rang out. I couldn't see who it was, but I could feel it. It was Sana. I was strangely sure about it.
Let the protection of the body manifest. Speech and mind. From all the harm of the elemental.
It felt like a bubble around my head was suddenly burst. Breathing became easier, and the pressure on my chest gradually faded away. Gasping for air, I grabbed at the fabric covering my abdomen. I leaped to my feet, opening my eyes wide. The hallway was empty in the middle of the darkness of the night. Everything was in its place. The green haze was gone, and it happened again. I held my head weakly as I slowly sank to the floor. The sense of impending doom washed over me again. So tired. I am so tired. Sana's soft hands touched my shoulder. I almost jumped, having completely forgotten about her.
Miss Khan, how did you end up here all alone with that in the hallway?
I just shook my head before immediately turning to face her. With that, did you see her too?
I couldn't have missed her with this much dark energy enveloping the entire house.
If you saw that too, I'm not going insane. Otherwise you wouldn't been able to see the same thing as me, right?
You're not insane, miss. Not at all.
The maid hurriedly took me by the arm and helping me to my feet. I gave in when she gently pulled me up. Thank you.
It's fine. I can see that you're not well.
I don't understand. With the maid's help, I finally stood back up.
Don't let the Bahoots fool you. You're not insane.
Bahoots? Supernatural beings? I felt so unsettled and exhausted, I struggled to think straight. That's nonsense.
Don't be so sure of it. What you just saw, didn't it make you think?
It did, about my own madness. She pursed her lips in displeasure, looking at me. Her hair was disheveled, her eyes sad, and she was trembling slightly. What are you holding?
A 7-colored loop thread. An amulet. It helped me protect you.
I remained silent. I had no strength left to argue, and try to convince Sana. Sana, on the other hand, was not prepared to let it go. She saw the way I was acting and realized that I was just keeping quiet out of exhaustion.
Come on, miss. I'll tell you something. Let me be of some help before I leave you.
The maid slowly walked down the corridor towards the door to the balcony.
Let's not talk in the hallway. It's not very safe.
She went out over to the bench and sat down. I obediently sat next to her. The night's breeze soothed my burning skin, covered in a cold sweat. I took a deep breath, feeling free and happy to be outside beneath the night sky. Just a few moments ago, I was gasping for air. I'm not sure if you're just in denial or you truly believe that you're going insane, but it's time for you to dig deeper. What are you getting at, Santa? Digging deeper is, in your opinion, honestly believing in the supernatural? Supernatural? What do you mean by that? Well, spirits, deities, amulets? I'm sorry, but I'll tell it like it is. That was all made up by the people when there was no education and no scientific knowledge. It's not their fault. They were trying to explain those things they couldn't find answers to. But now in the 20th century, we can afford not to believe in those old fairy tales. And spirits and almighty gods and protective trinkets. If I'm going insane like my grandmother, I'd rather admit it was than come up with some bizarre excuses. I was strong enough to admit the sad truth and state it out loud. Anything is better than hiding behind some absurd stories. It would be nice to think of myself as some sort of psychic, but that's nonsense. She listened to me in silence and then finally replied, Maybe it's the other way around. Are you more comfortable thinking that you're just going insane rather than believing it's something more? You should challenge what you think you know about the world. Start questioning yourself. Think outside of the box. Fine, let's do it. What are your arguments in favor of the fact that all of this is true? We both saw the Bahoot that attacked you today. What makes you think that it was the Bahoot? Everything points to it. And you both saw it, so clearly you're not insane. Bahoots are people who are brutally murdered in the past and haven't found peace. They are angry spirits who want to possess someone else's body. They don't have shadows and can't touch the floor in the house. They are looking for those who are weak in spirit, who can be confused, deceived, scared. Once they further weaken the victim's will, they finally attack. It's so similar to what happened today. Considering what she is saying, I began to remember. Neither Amir nor Aisha touched the floor with their feet. They seemed to float a few inches above it. Both didn't cast a shadow. Okay.
Naive. Don't think madness is knowledge. Visions, premonitions. You have a very high opinion of yourself. This isn't it. This is different. Your grandmother is insane. Your mother is insane. And you will go insane.
They were both talking about how insane, or rather, trying to convince me that I am insane. Yes, there was another a few days ago. What did he tell you? He said something, the same thing as Asha said today. Do you remember the exact words?
This whole universe was born by you. The world was created by you. In the end, you always devour it. You manifest as a destructive force. It's a great honor to fall victim to you, O Dark Mother. Mother of strife, Mother of time.
Those were the tantras dedicated to Goddess Kali, the Dark Shakti. Senna seemed so taken aback and terrified by my words, and so she stood immobile and remained silent for an entire minute. She covered her mouth with her hand and turned away, peering somewhere into the darkness of the night. My God. But how? Why did they come to you? What does it matter? I'm not going insane, and it was all real? Miss, how can you still not believe it? Please take this seriously. Being visited by Bahoots is a warning you can't ignore. They are not simply drawn to you, to your energy. They seek to plant doubt and fear in your soul. She suddenly leaped to her feet, overcome with excitement and indignation. You need an amulet. Let me make you one for you while I'm still here. Once I leave, I won't be able to help you anymore. An amulet? Unfortunately, I missed the diamond rush because I wasn't feeling all that well. But I digress. Alright. It will ease my mind whether to believe in it or not. And mine too, miss. Trust me. It will do its job. I will need a day. I'll make it for you. Thank you for taking care of me. The amulet will be very helpful in the future. There's a reason the Bahoots are drawn to you. We need to deal with this immediately. You are a magnet for the dead. What could it be? Why did they recite the tantras dedicated to Kali? I don't know. Are you sure? She nervously turned around, heading to the balcony's door. Come on, miss. You'd better get a good night's sleep. You've been through a lot tonight. Before I had time to object, she had already opened the door and entered the house. I felt as if everything around me had become entangled in a chaotic web, making it so impossible to make sense of anything. I didn't open my eyes until the morning. What had happened seemed like a strange dream, but my body remembered Ash's grip too well to write it off as a nightmare. It unsettled me so much that I ended up sleeping soundly through the night. Okay, it's time to get ready. I have a lot of work to do. We got the blue, pale green, orange. I like the blue. I go with the blue. I think this majestic blue suits me. Such a beautiful sari deserves jewelry that will bring out its color. We'll see about the jewelry. Emerald. I'll just do a modest necklace. I need something else to complete this Indian style look. Maybe I should put on some makeup? Focus on the eyes. Focus on the lips. Natural makeup. That's a tough one. I like both, but we'll just put on regular makeup. Now I'll get in touch with my colleagues. I have an idea. A moment later, I was on the line with my team leader. Hello, Miss Khan. Good morning, Mr. Rose. It has been good so far. I held back a heavy sigh as I rolled my eyes. I have a suggestion for what we could do today. I'm all ears. What will you impress us with this time? Time goes by, but Rose doesn't change. He takes an opportunity to pick on me. I'm sure he'll try his best to discourage my idea to visit the temple of the goddess Kali. And it's clear that he's harboring a grudge now after our argument at the archive. How can I convince him that it'll be useful to visit Kalighat? Okay, listen, I'm just gonna treat him like I would anyone else. And beat him to death with the phone. Convince him. After reviewing our case, I almost completely certain that the killer is following of the goddess Kali. And how did you get to such an absurd conclusion? Many clues point to that. We don't have anything to lose if we start digging in that direction. Nothing but time. Well, do you have any other suggestions? Captain Lightwood told me about the information you found in the archive. The idea of going to the bazaar and looking or asking local vendors about this Amir guy seems logical to me. Yes, but looking at the religion is also important. It has a significant role in the locals' everyday life. A ritual murder in honor of Kali is more than likely. There are many ancient blood rituals associated with the goddess as far as I know. Fine. Maybe you're right. I wonder how difficult it was for him to say that out loud. Despite your resentment, you were honest and straightforward. Well done. Then we should split up. I'll take Vaish, go to the bazaar, and you go to the temple. That will be even more productive. So everything is set? Yes, report back to me tomorrow. The team leader hung up the phone without wasting time on pleasantries. I'm starting to get used to this. I had breakfast alone. My morning routine and the long conversation with Rose took long enough for the Cajons to finish their breakfast without me. Before leaving the house, I decided to exchange a few words with Priyanka and let her know that I was heading to work. I found her together with her Aryan on the balcony on the first floor. He was sitting in an armchair drinking tea and looking through a newspaper. He was talking quietly about something with his wife, who was digging into the flower pots. Good morning. Good morning, Amala. We haven't seen you at all lately.
You look well.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that I'm leaving for work. Ah, will I ever hear anything else from you? She put her hands on her hips and shook her head, pretending to be annoyed.
Mary Dale, don't pester the girl. She was brought up in a different culture.
Morals might be different, but our essence as people is all the same. There's no need to invent anything new.
Go, Amala. Good luck to you. Is your work coming along fine?
Well, kind of. We are slowly getting on with it. You're always talking about work. One day I'll be sitting at home alone. My husband is at work, my guest is at work. Very soon Sana will be busy with our children.
Did you take the measurements for the wedding? Sorry, I'm starting to arrange the details of the ceremony.
I raised an eyebrow in surprise and I chimed in. Measurements? Sorry, so soon? Why wait? The groom is a catch. If we hesitate, someone else will steal him from right under our nose. Is this what Santa wants? Don't you care about our opinion? We do, but sometimes it's best not to listen to young people. At that age, sometimes you are your worst enemy.
Right. That's best. This is what is best for Sana.
Maybe. But she's not acting like a happy bride to be. The wedding was scheduled so suddenly. Everything is moving too quickly. And apparently that's how it's done here. I decided not to waste any more time, so I said goodbye to them and went to work. By noon, I was already at the Kalighat Temple Square. It was sunny. The noisy street was crowded. Vendors were calling people over, praising their goods, while beggars clung to passerbyers and asked for money. I looked around for anyone I could recognize. I was alone for a while. The sun was high in the sky, and the midday heat was at its peak. I covered my head with my hands, trying not to get sunstroke, and moved into the shade. They're late. 10 minutes later, we were all standing in front of the main entrance to the temple. It's a strange setting, in my opinion. The three of us are here, while Rose and Vaish are there. It's not that strange. 2 men don't need a military attaché as much as 2 women do. I agree. Besides, there's another good reason for this. And what's that? Rose doesn't want to see me. And for at least one day, his wish is granted. It's time for you to stop arguing with each other. It slows down our work. I'm not the one who started it. Yes, but you encourage it, Amala. It would be wiser to just ignore him. I mean, technically today, I just was a normal person. As long as Amaret Rose is our team leader, we must follow his instructions. Arguing with him will only cause issues. Before entering the temple, we all took off our shoes and bought a flower offering for the goddess out of respect for the local culture. The first thing I felt when I was inside was an unpleasant smell of blood, mixed with the aroma of incense. It was an extremely strange and repulsive combination. I winced, but tried to hide it. What's that? What's the smell? In the next hall, sacrifices are being made to the goddess. Sacrifices? Yes, various animals, chickens, or something a little bigger. That's disgusting. It's an important part of this culture, so you should be more respectful. How can I respect something like this? This is how they worship the goddess they love. They ask for her blessing. You can't come to her temple and disrespect its traditions, do you understand? You respect the local customs. That's because that's what you're supposed to do. She twisted her lips, but didn't say anything. I understood why she was disgusted by this, but I couldn't see it from her point of view. To me, everything looked different. You can't interfere with someone else's faith and apply your own rules. Pretty much the way I live by. There is Bengali saying, in the month of Ashvin, even a lousy goat is worth money. What they do with this goat, you understand. What month is Ashvin? This is the name of the month of Durga Puja, a religious festival in honor of the goddess Durga. I hope we won't be here for it. I can imagine the blood will be flowing like a river through Calcutta on such holidays. If things continue to move so slowly, we'll be here. It's pretty soon. I looked around. The space wasn't large, yet there was a sense of magnificence in every corner and every detail. A strange atmosphere of power filled the temples to the brim. Maybe it was because of the worshippers wandering the corridors or the smell of the incense. But as I stood there, I could tell it was sanctuary of a great goddess. Where do we start? We should find some local priest and talk to him. Amala, do you mind if I take your arm? I don't feel good here. I don't understand why there's a little movie clip there, but we'll see. It looks like Lima really isn't feeling well. Of course. Hold on to me.
Hey,
wait, what? That was interesting. It was a video ad. I don't mind if it makes you feel better. Thank you. When we were at the crime scene, you seemed to be as tough as nails. I'm really tough when it's not about animal cruelty. But here, there's just such a creepy atmosphere, I don't know. This is a step towards strengthening your friendship. She took my arm, and I smiled reassuringly at her. It's actually rather cute. We kept walking. It was unpleasant to walk barefoot on the cold floor. Mud, blood were mixed together as many people walked down the street barefoot. My breath caught in my throat as we entered the next room. This is incredible. What's the matter? Not far from us, I noticed a young woman wearing an unusual traditional attire. She was burning incense on the altar of Kali. That's not unusual. I've seen that before. Indian Devadasis were the temple dancers who lived and worked in the name of their deity. I thought the Devadasis were found mainly in the south of India, and meeting one of them in Calcutta was incredible. It seems to be a Bayadiri, an Indian temple dancer. She's so beautiful. I'll go talk to her. Wait here. I approached her and addressed her in Hindi. Hello, my name is Amala Khan. I noticed your outfit. Are you a Devadasi? He smiled affably at me, bowing lightly. Hello to you too. My name is Vashvi. Yes, I'm a wandering Devadashi. Now I serve in Kalighat. Wandering? Aren't you tied to one temple and one deity? I serve only the goddess Devi, the great Shakti. My goal is to serve at all Shakti Pitas. Do you know anything about it? Yes, those are sacred locations in Shaktism, where parts of the body of the goddess Sati fell after her posthumous separation. Every location where a part of the goddess fell became sacred. Yes, that's right. You listen to the legend of Sati, so you can discuss it with the Devadesi. There are 51 places in total. The followers of Shaktism go on pilgrimage to visit each one of them. And now you serve in Kalighat? Yes, the great goddess Kali is one of the incarnations of Shakti, so it's very important to give her due respect. Do you know a lot about her? Devi Shakti is the meaning of life. I dedicated myself to the goddess. If you are interested, I can tell you everything about the goddess Kali. Do you speak English? Yes. I called Killian and Lima over, briefly explaining who Vashvi was and what she did. Then we continue our conversation in English. What should I ask her? I'm assuming I'm able to ask all these questions. How did you become one? Did your parents decide that? No, the goddess herself called me. I lost my parents at an early age. Life gave me two paths. One of them was dark, full of filth, temptation, but it was easier to follow. The second path turned out to be difficult and full of challenges, but in it I found hope. As a woman, they wanted me to use me for terrible, shameful purposes, and I would have allowed it if I was so weak back then. But faith in the great Shakti and female power and my powerful energy made me continue to fight. Did you escape the fate that was ahead of you? Yes, and I dedicated myself to serving the goddess. This is my life. What should I ask her? What do you do? What do you do in the temples? I stay for several months every Shakti Pita temple I visit. I make offerings to the goddess, clean up, dance, perform rituals. This is what my everyday consists of, serving Shakti. When I feel that my work is done, I leave the temple and move on to the next one. Do you only serve Shakti? What about the others? I only serve Shakti, our great mother. I gave my life to her voluntarily, and after that I was initiated into the Devadasi. I will never submit to another god. For me, there is only the great Shakti. What should I ask her? We are interested in the goddess Kali. Can you tell us more about her? To begin with, I think you should learn about how great Kali came to be. I can tell you this legend briefly or in detail. In detail. There could be useful information in the detailed version. On the other hand, time is also of the essence to us. Details are important to us. I am familiar with the short version. As you wish. It will be an honor for me to tell you about it. So this is the legend of the birth of the Dark Mother. Once the gods lived in a calm and prosperous time. Each of them was busy with their own business, existing for the benefit of the human race. But this time was not destined to last forever. A terrible and powerful demon, Makishahara, came back to settle old scores. He was strong and so angry, and the gods could not defeat him. The war between them and the demon lasted for 100 years, but he won. A difficult time began for the gods as they had to submit to him and retreat. But they did not want to endure his reign for long. The gods appeared before the sacred triad, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, and asked for help. When they learned about the atrocities perpetuated by Mahishara, they became angry. They decided to create a being out of their anger. Taking the creative female energies of Shakti, the gods combined their powers, their rage, their strength in her. The dark and destructive Hypostatis of sweet Parvati was born, the great goddess of Kali, a warrior unlike any other in the world. Goddess Kali rushed into battle with a deafening cry that reached Mahishariya himself. He came to fight her, but his defeat was inevitable. Also, it looks like she rode on a lion. You listen to the legend. Drunk with victory, Kali began to dance, and her dance could destroy everything around her. Only Shiva, who threw himself at the feet of his beloved furious wife, was able to stop her, calm her down. Why is she called Mother? Because Kali is one of the incarnations of Shakti Devi, who's also called the Great Mother. If you are devoted and submissive to her, she will be kind and fair to you. If you anger her and do not show her due respect, angry Kali can bring terrible things upon you. Look at that old man. She pointed at an old man kneeling at the image of Kali. He was silent, but moved his hands as if performing some kind of ritual. What is he doing? That man has done a lot of bad things in his life. In order to atone before the goddess, he cut off his tongue and sacrificed it. Wow. He comes here every day and asks Kali for forgiveness as best as he can. They say she punished him very severely. How? All his sons died, one by one. He has no heirs left. He married a woman with a child, and now he prays for him every day, even though that's not his natural son. Oh, let him take responsibility. I mean, it depends on what bad things he did. Really. I mean, it's sad that he lost all of his sons, but it really depends. The pain of losing your own child or children must be unbearable. It's proportionate to his deeds. Let's go to another room. I'll show you something. I wish I knew what his deeds were, just to, I don't know, think about it. We followed Vashni, who led us to the first hall. There was grace and beauty in her every movement. Even watching her was a pleasure. Suddenly she stopped and bowed. Mr. Doobay, what an honor and joy to see you here. Before her stood a tall, stately man. He nodded to the devotee. She then turned his gaze to us. You have some eyes. Oh. Well, that's it for today, then. Well, then. We got 2 independence, 2 loyalty, 3 respect, 1 rage, 2 kindness. And let's get those diamonds. Alright, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Love your beautiful faces. Sorry I wasn't able to take part in the diamond rush because, again, I wasn't feeling the greatest in the world. You know, also seasonal change. So our weather went from, you know, like 80 degrees, whatnot, to literally like 40 at night. And it's like 60 during the day. So for me, you know, it's quite a shift change. And about every year in the fall, I kind of just become completely and utterly lethargic. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I just was not able to take part in it and have been a little bit behind in Kali and Romance Club books in a nutshell. But long story short, I'm working to catch up on that. Also, it's October, so I do a lot of spooky, scary games and whatnot, so a lot more of that is coming to the channel. Such things as like Dead Space. The Starfield games are still coming. Then, you know, the things I posted on the community page for community notes for those of you who are subscribed and whatnot, want to check those out. All those games are going to be coming to YouTube, so do stay tuned for that. And then also Spider-Man 2 on October 19th/20th. So, thanks again for watching. Love your beautiful faces, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.